Well, we moved from the Ginza Girl to one of the great features of downtown Tokyo, and that is the department stores. And the department stores are phenomenal. They don't just sell merchandise, they sell really very elegant, tasteful foodstuffs. They have floors with art objects in them. They have exhibition space for artists. And here we see one of the department stores. And then if we move from the department store to so-called cafe society, and much of the social history being done on Japan now is really focusing on that. This is a book that the Museum of Modern Art in Boston, the MFA, put out recently, The Brittle Decade, Visualizing Japan in the 1930s, really shows the range of materials, and for their cover, they have cafe waitresses. They're very elegant places to eat little delicacies and desserts, coffee, tea, liquor. What is this really such an important part of city life?
As I mentioned a little bit earlier, these cafes tended to cater predominantly to male clientele, and so it's not necessarily a family-oriented business, but it was seen as one of the features of urban entertainment in this period. And perhaps the more evocative was the figure of the cafe waitress, who is seen as an example of, again, we mentioned earlier of how women begin to emerge as protagonists on the streets of Tokyo during this period. And cafe waitress symbolized a new major category of women who are professional women, who are involved, who are fully employed on their own, are making their earnings, oftentimes single, and they are seen as both sign of progress, but also from perhaps more conservative perspective, a potential of social decay and gender roles being broken down. And the cafe waitress, in some sense, concentrates those perspectives because her jobs oftentimes involve not just serving tea or coffee or alcohol, but by offering herself as a conversation partner to these predominantly male clientele. So again, she is an ambivalent figure, I think, to the people who are consuming her image through these woodblock prints, or more often the case in film and magazines.
What you said reminds us that the women coming in, not just the men, but the women coming in, are looking for jobs in the city. And new jobs for women are opening up. One can be cafe waitress, another can be a clerk in the department store, or someone standing by the elevators in the department store. Others as secretaries, and you see much graphics of people at the typewriters, working on typewriters. At that, so the city becomes a place of new employment opportunities.
Absolutely. And becomes home to a larger number of both working class people as well as the beginnings of middle class people in Japan. People who are salaried employees of major corporations, who have graduated from universities, and their families. And again, it's worth emphasizing that this new middle-class life is oftentimes more of an ideal rather than a reality. Probably throughout the 1930s, the proportion of people who counted as middle class never amounted more than 20% of the total population of Tokyo. And so we are talking about a minority, but a significant minority who's capturing the imagination of a growing number of Japanese.